The Orlando Magic might have just pulled off one of the best off seasons in the league over the summer, and while some teams may have pulled off some blockbuster moves for superstars such as Kevin Durant, let me tell you why this team down in Central Florida may have sneakily won the offseason. The Orlando Magic capped off an injury-riddled season last year with a defeat to the Boston Celtics 4-1 in the first round of the playoffs. While already having a tough task ahead of them, having to go against the defending champs, they went into the series without Jalen Suggs, Mo Wagner, Paolo Banchero, and Franz Wagner both tearing their obliques in the regular season, so still might not have been 100%. Just no really guard play, having Corey Joseph start all 5 playoff games. The Magic went into the offseason facing some real issues that were glaring, such as the shooting has been abysmal for the past countless seasons, the offense that has been subpar for how long, and now with a real core built on top of superstars such as Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, the front office was facing some pressure that now is the time to win. And, you know, you might have to finally put that foot on the gas a little bit. And going into it, the fans such as myself didn't really know what to expect. You knew that something may have come, but you didn't know to what extent, you know, what we were going to get, you know, an Anthony Simons, Kobe White. But on June 15, 2025, just one day before the NBA Finals Game 7, the Orlando Magic made the first move of the offseason, and it was a real true blockbuster, sending 4 first-round picks, Cole Anthony, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, to the Memphis Grizzlies in return for rising star Desmond Bane. And off initial reaction, and even still to this day, people look at this trade as maybe a bit of an overpay, but me personally and a lot of other fans, Magic fans, and just NBA fans, the more you look and read into this trade, the more you understand that this wasn't really as much as an overpay as you people think. Yes, did we pay a premium for this player? Yes. But when that player fits perfectly into what you're trying to build, fits perfectly into your identity, fits perfectly into fixing your team's biggest flaw that you've been facing for countless seasons, maybe it is okay to, you know, pay that extra first round pick, pay that extra, you know, whatever it is to get the deal done to get your guy. If the Magic truly think this is their guy, then obviously no one should have a problem with them going out and paying this price. Now, along with that, they did have to give up Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Cole Anthony. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope signed with us last offseason, and that was our big signing. We were in a race between Paul George and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, as crazy as that sounds. The Magic ended up signing Kentavious Caldwell-Pope for a big contract, and it was an absolute disaster class. I mean, he did not perform up to that standard at all. His three-point numbers dropped off significantly. The defense was all right, but it wasn't like otherworldly. And coming off of yet another season of the team shooting horrifically, the Magic stared at themselves. You know, they're looking at this guy with a $20+ million contract they just gave to last season, who can't hit a three, who was pretty much a no-show in the playoffs. And at the time, it looked like a big issue. And so with this trade, you were able to get off Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, get off Cole Anthony's contract. You had to pay probably some extra picks just for that, and then probably maybe 3 first-round picks for the player himself, Desmond Bane. But at this point, everyone knows about the Desmond Bane trade. There isn't really too much to go on about it. This is about the entire offseason and what really was a perfect offseason from a fan's perspective. And a couple weeks before the trade, the Magic actually started off this offseason with a little bang of itself, announcing the brand new rebrand of the team, announcing new logos, jerseys, everything, new court floor, everything. It was the fans initially loved it. I still love it to this day. And in my opinion, obviously, maybe I'm slightly biased, it is one of the best rebrands we've seen in recent history. Pretty much, I feel like they were able to give the fans exactly what everyone wanted. You know, going back to the throwback jerseys, but making it their permanent thing, having a little modern twist to it. Obviously, some of them take some time to grow on you. Like initially, that black one with the blue stripe down it. That one at first, I was like, eh. The more I looked at it, it might be one of my favorites now between that one and the white one. But along with this rebrand, the Magic also announced some arena changes. After selling this name rights from the Amway Center to the Kia Center back in 2024, we finally get an announcement to some new arena changes that will be made, including a new scoreboard, some new LCD screens around the arena, a big giant one in the ozone. And I know to the casual fan, this might not be the biggest change in the world, but you know, the diehards like myself who are consistently going to these games and can notice things that they would like to see improve, I feel like a lot of these changes did hit those improvements. And while I've only seen videos of the changes yet, I'm very excited. On October 12th, I believe, we get to finally go in and see it in person and watch, you know, the Magic play basketball again. I think it will be a really great experience to just go in and see all the changes all at once for the first time in person. And the new jerseys, the new court floor, the new arenas, seeing it all at one time. I think it'll be a really cool experience. And now enough with the cosmetic upgrades of the team. Obviously, unless you're in Orlando going to these games, it really isn't a game changer for a lot of you. Let's go back to some of the roster changes that were made. This one is not player based. A big concern with the Magic, and it probably had a little bit to do with some of their offensive struggles, was some concerns that Magic fans at least had towards the coaching staff. Jamahl Mosley is obviously a defensive first coach and is still a relatively new coach in this league. So having him come in and having to, he already transformed the defense. Obviously, he was struggling with the offense a little bit and he needed a little bit of help. So over the offseason, the Magic went out and got Joe Prunty from the Milwaukee Bucks, a very experienced head coach who is very well known for some offensive coordination. And along with that, also was a coach who worked under Greg Popovich, who we've seen many times that a lot of Popovich guys go on to be great, assistant coaches, head coaches. We've seen a lot of Popovich guys who are head coaching in the league now who are absolutely amazing. So being able to lure him away from the Milwaukee Bucks, obviously a team that, isn't going in the right direction. Maybe it wasn't the hardest choice in the world to have him come to the Magic, who seem to be only going up right now. But that was not the only coaching staff moves that were made. The Magic also lured over Shamgod from the Dallas Mavericks to come join the coaching staff as the player development coach. Shamgod specializes in player development, especially with guards. Obviously, he's got the Shamgod named after him. He's worked with many guys in the past, including superstar Luka Doncic, who is obviously one of the best players in the world, and will now reunite with Jamahl Mosley, who is also a former Dallas Mavericks assistant coach. They now come back together in Orlando. Now they have Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs, Desmond Bane, Anthony Black, all these players that have so much potential that they could work on together and really just bring out the best in them. And after that, we got to the NBA draft. The Magic initially did have 2 first-round picks in this draft. Obviously, one of them went out in the Desmond Bane trade. That turned into pick 16, who I believe Memphis traded to Portland for Hanson Yang. So with that, the Magic left were pick 25 from the Denver Nuggets and pick 31, which they traded up some seconds, I believe, to the Boston Celtics for pick 31. And with their 25th pick this year, they ended up selecting Michigan guard Jace Richardson, son of Jason Richardson, former Magic player himself. The 19-year-old comes into this draft one of the top prospects, but with some concerns of his size being only 6 foot tall, it does feel like he may have slipped in the standings. A lot of people had him as one of the more higher end prospects in this draft, but because of that size, he did seem to fall a little bit, luckily falling into the Magic's lap at 25. And for a team at this point that still lacks some guard play, only bringing in Desmond Bane so far in the season, taking a guard with some high upside at 25 was pretty much a no-brainer. Jace in college was also a great three-point shooter, very crafty around the rim, pretty much filling in a lot of the needs for this team. Obviously, like I said, the size could be an issue in the league, but that we've seen plenty of smaller guys make it work. He'll most likely be used at, if anything, as a spark plug off the bench. We might not even see him at all this year. Maybe coming year 2, 3, 4, whatever, he'll probably step in for that Cole Anthony role off the bench. Smaller guard, spark plug off the bench. And in the next night of the draft, like I mentioned, they traded up to pick 31 and selected Noah Penda from France. Penda is an interesting player, 6'8", 250 pounds, great defensive upside, has shown some flashes of the jump shot. Is willing to take the jump shot, as we saw plenty of times in the summer league throughout, if you watch his France games, but still could be worked on, around that 30% range right now. But of course, it's Orlando Magic, and they took Jace, but they got to go with their defensive guy, and defense seems to be his bright spot. Along with that, though, he does have very impressive passing ability for a guy his size, and while you can look at him as a little bit of a project player, it definitely does seem like the Jeff Weltman mold of a player, and someone who, for all we know, can be making an impact on his team as soon as this season with his skill set, especially with the injury history of Jonathan Isaac. He seems like someone who could plug and play right into that spot. And just fill in that need perfectly whenever you might need him throughout the season. So now at this point in the offseason, before free agency is even open, the Magic have added Desmond Bane, Jace Richardson, and Noah Penda, as long as 2 new assistant coaches to the staff. But now free agency has arrived, and what are the Magic going to do? They don't have tons of money to work with. They have players that they need to be re-signed. They have, looming extensions that we're going to talk about. But at this point, free agency is open, the market's open, and the players are needed. And there are still roles out there that are meant to be filled. So what do the Magic do? They go out day 1 of free agency and sign guard Tyus Jones, former teammate of Desmond Bane in Memphis, widely considered one of the best backup point guards in the league. Did have a slightly rough stint last year with the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns brought him in to be their starting point guard with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. It didn't really work. It kind of flamed out. They missed the playoffs. But really, the role that he shines in the most is that backup point guard duty, which we really haven't seen from him since his days in Memphis, when Memphis was a really good team. When Ja Morant went down, it was Desmond Bane and Tyus Jones running that backcourt, and it was running very smoothly. So now we reunite them in Orlando once again. We put Tyus back to his preferred role in the league as a backup point guard, and he fills in perfectly for the needs for the Magic, both the three-point shooting and the playmaking ability. Everyone knows Tyus Jones, is the assist to turnover ratio king. Every year he's leading the league in it. But most importantly, when going into the signing, I just wanted someone who can consistently shoot the three ball and create for others. And I feel like we got exactly that in Tyus Jones, kind of a more, beefed up Corey Joseph, if you want to say it. Now, defensively, there is to be desired. Obviously, if he was great on defense, it would be a different story. But there's got to be, you got to make sacrifices. And along with that, in the second unit, he will have Anthony Black, Jonathan Isaac. You'll have, players who can pick up for him. And kind of under the radar with this move, I do believe that he will be a great mentor to Jace Richardson. I feel like Jace Richardson will be that guy who fills in perfectly for him when Tyus inevitably has to leave this team. I don't know if we'll, if he has a great season, I don't know if we'll be able to retain him for the money we paid. We only got him on a one-year deal. So obviously, if he can have one season mentoring Jace under his belt, showing him like, this is what you got to do, to be successful, I feel like Jace can fill in perfectly for him next season. And I say that because our next move kind of goes into this. Our next move was the re-signing of Mo Wagner. Obviously, Mo Wagner in the middle of the season sadly tore his ACL and was forced to miss the remainder of the season. So obviously he's still rehabbing. He probably won't be back for the beginning of the season, but the Magic still looked at him as a core piece of this team. Obviously brother of Franz Wagner, but he's not just Franz's brother. He is a real impactful player to this team. Like Coach Mosley says, he wakes up in the morning with 10 points. And fortunately for the Magic, even though, he is suffering his injury, he is still a very valuable piece in the league. So the Magic were able to go out, get him for a little discounted price of, I believe, $5 million for just this season. So if he comes back, he's healthy and he shows that, he can be impactful on the court post injury, the Magic are going to have to re-sign him next season if they want to keep him for, probably a much higher price. So that's why I'm kind of mentioning that Tyus Jones probably just might be a one-and-done year for him on the Orlando Magic. If you could bring back a healthy Mo Wagner next season, have Jace Richardson step into that Tyus Jones role, which I think he's fully capable of at this point in year 2, especially from the flashes that we saw from him in Summer League. Him and Noah both did great in Summer League, but Jace really kind of stood out as an efficient, shooter and someone who's really, willing to kind of make the right plays here and there, but can definitely use some work that I believe Tyus and Shamgar will both be able to help him with this coming season. And last, but especially not least in the offseason, last year, the Magic extended Franz Wagner and Jalen Suggs. Obviously a great move. Most fans did not want Franz or Jalen going anywhere, so locking them down was a major need. This season now, you were faced with just as big of a task, maybe more, of extending Paolo Banchero. Paolo Banchero is, he's the franchise of this team. Him and Franz are the two guys. Franz is already locked in. Now this year, Paolo's time was up, and the Magic got it done. The Magic extend Paolo for 5 years. Obviously, Paolo netted a rookie max as expected. Now, I did see some concerns from fans when they initially saw that the last year was a player option. Now, I understand the skepticism. I know we have, a history of our first overall picks, franchise guys leaving us. I do think that there is some context here. I think that, a player option in that final year, he can decline it and, given an opportunity to make more money, extend sooner for more money than, going out that final year. And me personally, I don't think this is anything any Magic fan should be worrying about. What we should be focusing on right now is we have Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, Desmond Bane, all locked up under contract for the next 4 or 5 years now. Paolo technically with his contract is locked up for the next 6 years, but as of right now, that core 4 is all under contract until I believe 2028. And this core right now, and especially years down when they're in their primes, it's a contending core. Let's not, beat around the bush. This core can contend for championships. I believe this year they have, I'm not going to say they're going to win a championship this year, but do I think Eastern Conference Finals is a very realistic opportunity? Absolutely. In the East, in the state of the East, absolutely. Eastern Conference Finals should be all on their mind. All of their mind should all of them should be going into this season saying, I think we should at least make an Eastern Conference Finals, maybe go from there and make an NBA Finals. I don't think there's any clear-cut better team in the East that you could undeniably say are better than the Magic. Obviously, the Knicks have the experience, the Cavs have some experience, but the Cavs have fallen short year after year. Maybe this is finally a year. There's no Boston Celtics, there's no Indiana Pacers, and the Knicks were right there last year, but obviously they ran into the Indiana Pacers. And, you know, looking at these two teams, the Indiana Pacers, the Orlando Magic, obviously they're two different play styles. But realistically, how much better with Desmond Bane, you know, was last year's Indiana team? We don't know yet. We haven't seen this team step on the court. But from a thought in the preseason, while I'm biased and hyping myself up, it's really, you know, you can see the vision. And I think there's a lot to be excited about going into this season. Now, especially at the offseason, it's over in like 12 hours. The offseason is over for the Magic. And like it's 1:48 on Sunday. Magic's media day is tomorrow. That is officially the start of the new season. And I will give one more piece to this perfect offseason. If you want to, you know, I don't know if you want to include this one. Over the offseason, Magic forward Franz Wagner and Tristan da Silva both went out to compete in the Eurobasket tournament, obviously an international tournament over the summer. Franz has played in so many international tournaments over the summers now, but Eurobasket is his latest. Tristan da Silva joins Team Germany with that. Goga Bitadze played for Team Georgia, but Team Germany is a powerhouse in European basketball right now, and they did end up winning gold in Eurobasket. So Franz Wagner will be coming back to Media Day training camp starting Tuesday. Tristan da Silva as well, my bad, Tristan. They will be coming back into training camp with a little bit of championship energy. They only won this tournament maybe 2 weeks ago now. It's still very fresh on their mind. Coming in with that energy and, you know, being like, hey guys, we just played, you know, a tournament at the highest level versus some of the NBA's best players. Obviously, you know, the European stars are in this tournament. Sengun, who they played in the finals, Jokic, Luka, Giannis, all these guys played in this. Some of the best players in the world they played against at the highest level, and them coming out above them all, it's probably very motivating and can give, you know, an insight to their teammates that, hey, listen, we just competed at the highest level versus the best in this setting, and we won it all. And now, you know, we can push that on and show you guys, you know, give some motivation. We can help the team out and kind of pass on the energy. So yeah, guys, that was the Orlando Magic's perfect offseason. In my opinion, the best offseason in the league. I'm biased. If you guys did enjoy the video, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe for more Magic content throughout the season. I am officially back, and I'm ready to get into a new season of Magic basketball, and hopefully a great, healthy season. So I'll see you guys soon on the next one. I'm out. Peace.